So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to start our webinar. We are honored to welcome you to this enlightening webinar, where you'll have the opportunity to delve into the topic of manufacturing excellence, uh, the safe handling of chemical and pharmaceutical materials. So your host for today is Dr. Raghunandan Jagdish, a distinguished figure in the field of specialized material handling and lifting systems. Dr. Raghu holds the esteemed position of Managing Director and CEO at Nandan GSE. Um, Nandan GSE ensures proper handling and management of chemicals, minimizing risks, and support the chemical and pharmaceutical industry in compliance with safety regulations. We've helped our clients by providing them material handling equipment for raw material storage, drum handling, packaging, chemical transportation, hazardous material handling, and maintenance. Moreover, Nandan GSE offers specialized equipment designed for efficient handling of raw materials, intermediate products, and finished APIs within pharmaceutical manufacturing facilities. This includes lifting devices, storage solutions that optimize the movement and storage of materials, reducing manual labor. Dr. Raghu and his team are dedicated to empowering clients and fostering innovation in these critical industries. So I hand over this webinar to Dr. Raghunandan Jagdish.
Thanks so much, Sangarsh. Good afternoon, everybody. I know it's 1 hour after lunch, so all of you must be feeling a little drowsy, at least if you're honest, you should be. But I promise to make it exciting and relevant for you. Few things, please feel free to write on the chat so that we can take up your points as they deem fit. I will prefer to take the Q&A at the end. So we should take not more than 30 minutes for the initial part, and rest we would keep it on for the question and answers. So here we are. So firstly, I think let me just talk to you about why this. Chemical and pharma industry are two huge industries, and everything there is about material movement. So we thought, let's talk about how you can improve because your IP, your design, your formulations, your processes, those are some things that you are expert at. I am not. But what is required is there is a lot of material and man and process movement that is required. So we are just going to delve a little bit on that. So a little intro on what Nandan does. Here it is.
Convention to conquer.
So since 1991, we've been around, trying to help customers improve their productivity, performance, and safety. We're always working on a future that fascinates. That's where it is. That's our world-class manufacturing factory in Navi Mumbai, MIDC Turbe to be precise. We have one more in Khopoli. So out of this place, we are able to manufacture and deliver. And today is a very special day. Today is actually the 21st year of the certificate of incorporation of Nandan GSE Private Limited. So thank you for joining me on this unique day for us. So we do deliver to 25 countries. We make in India and deliver worldwide much before it became a fashion to do so. We are able to work on solutions which is there in aviation, aerospace and defense, and handling systems. So this part about the handling systems is what I'm going to correlate to your industry. And we've always had our team empowered and they're growing. There is a lot of learning and development that's happening. So we tend to get acknowledged by different agencies and stuff. So we have done direct work for even the Prime Minister of India. And we've been honored that we are trusted by customers to do that. Most of our orders do come from word of mouth. There's a lot of referrals that we do get. So we always we work on design so that you can reduce your effort. reducing manual effort is core at everything that we're doing, and we look to build lifelong relations with you. And completely, we are, like we said, the quality, reliability, and after sales service is what we are known for. And hence, we're working in 25 countries and looking to go more. So that's a little bit about Nandan, where all 250 of us believe we are Nandan and we are there to give value to the customers. So coming back to the factory, because chemical and pharma, for both of these, it's not really a work from home kind of thing that you can produce medicines or chemicals from home. The factory is an important angle at wherever you are at. So in terms of efficient factory management, there are a few principles. Each of them is a topic in itself. So lean manufacturing practices are really the ones which will help you save, and the material handling is definitely core of that. You can look at efficient production scheduling, real-time monitoring, analytics using a lot of IoTs and ML as it goes ahead. Factories are getting smarter. I'm not too sure whether people are, but yes, factories are getting smarter. There is a lot of ergonomic improvements that are happening, and a lot of QC is today automated, where it's automatically down the line you're able to create that. You're using a lot of energy efficiency. Even at Nandan, for example, we have 60% of our power coming from solar. So sustainability is very important at what everything are doing. And there is a lot of cross training that happens. So from all these topics that you saw in the previous one, I am going to basically focus on the material handling bit. What are the small things that you can do on an immediate basis to improve yourself there? So when the focus is on efficient material handling, that's core at what I'm going to be talking to you about. My name is Dr. Raghunandan Jagdish, as was introduced by Sangarsh, and I've been the CEO of Nandan for a long time, and we are working on improving productivity, performance, and safety. So I think I know a little bit or two about material handling. That's where we're sharing this. You need to identify your bottlenecks. So bottlenecks are those places within the factory where everything comes and gets stalled. So even if you eliminate bottlenecks immediately, your factory efficiency can go up by 13% by zero cost improvement. So that's an important part. And in those bottlenecks, your loading unloading zones are an important place where trucks can come, they stall, they block the space, they block the time. There's a lot of manual handling. There's ergonomic problems because people are handling them in a very unsafe manner. Conveyor systems, yes, you do have conveyors all throughout the factory, but if they're not well designed, the speed of the conveyors, the location, the way the transfers are done, it could lead to some bit of bottlenecking and inefficiency. Material transfer points are an important one. The more the material transfer points, the more flexible the system should be. But what also happens at some point of time or the other, the system can collapse. So you need to be very careful about it. There's a lot of vertical material movement, that is from the ground floor to the upper levels, that you need to take. Waiting for the lift breaking down, things not being fitting inside. These are all problems that do occur in vertical movement. So you need to be very careful about that, and they will create a lot of bottlenecks in the system. This is a typical factories. This is actually clicked live from one of my clients, whom we help later on, of course. The kind of storage itself is like in a mess. There's a lot of garbage lying around. There is no 5S followed. So even applying this will not cost you money, but will be able to generate a lot of bottleneck. Wherever there is a crossing, there is a scope of an accident. So when you design your own factories and layouts, be very careful about them. Again, wherever there is a manual handling involved, that means a man can only lift 30 kgs, or if he's really strong, about 50 kgs, but not more than that. And even that has a long-term impact on his health. So wherever there is a manual handling involved, there is going to be a slowdown, and there are going to be risks which will lead to bottlenecks. Wherever people do inspections manually, it waits for the inspections. They can be again stop points. Prioritization is wrongly done, so Of course, when you have a complex operation, mistakes do happen, but these are also a big source for bottlenecks. Decisions on what material to go where if the man is making it there. Equipment breakdown, okay, like it's written here. Please note this is not a Nandan product. This work of art is from a given to us by a customer who wanted us to repair the cheap equipment that he bought from somewhere. Of course, we didn't do it because it's dangerous. It can cause damage and hurt. But whenever there's an equipment breakdown, at the bare minimum, it will lead to delay in your operations. At the tough end, it could lead to somebody getting hurt and the material getting damaged. At the worst end, it could lead to somebody's death. So be careful about when you buy your equipment. Go for equipment quality. And at other times, you might want to do handling, but you don't have equipment, so the quantity might be less. So since we're talking about the two core industries of pharma and chemical, there is a lot of similarity in what you're trying to do. You want most of your equipment to be flame proof because the chemicals or the pharma too, there could be a lot of fire hazards. So in order to mitigate that, you will always need to flame proof your equipment of all sorts. You want minimize manpower because more the number of people, more the risks. You want it to be safe and have high quality, of course. Most of the material should be stainless steel so that no rusting is seen anywhere. And there has to be a traceable maintenance, which is definitely part of a GMP, where for the good manufacturing practices, maintenance, in fact, even ISO 9001 requires that you need to keep maintenance traceability. So yeah, that's a few thoughts on the material handling that comes in. And now what I'm trying to give you is stuff. But coming back to the topic at hand, which we began with, I would like for you to again look in this. The best things in life are free, of course, with tax added on. So whatever you see out here is knowledge that is shared, but how you implement it is really the key to what changes. So feel free to take down notes and feel free to look up these. Whoever is registered for it will of course send you a copy of the recording and an ebook. So few of the technologies that are available, again we divide it into 4 parts. You have implant solutions that is within your factory. You have the dock, the truck interface, loading, unloading. You have during the process and also delivery of the goods at the customer's end. So in implant, few of the solutions that you can use is a hydraulic scissor lift. So a scissor lift, because it has got an X and it's called a scissor, it is a fantastic mechanism in which the platform remains horizontal always and it goes up and down horizontally. So you can use this from anywhere between a 500 kg capacity right up to like 100 tons and move the material up and down. It's got a lot of complexities like ramps on either side. It could have rollers, it could have conveyors, tilters, etc. So one of the movement of material between two levels, instead of having a slope, you would just put a scissor lift there, put your thing on it and go up and take it out. So that saves a lot of effort of human being, plus it improves your safety requirements. Second would be, you of course have pallet trucks, which are ubiquitous everywhere in the pharma and chemical industry. But if you go for a battery operated one, it makes it move very simple. It's always braking automatically. It won't roll down. And one person can move even 1 ton very, very easily. This is more important because nowadays in the factories, there's a lot of female workforce. So when they're coming in, they of course find it very difficult to move to the pallet truck. Battery operated pallet trucks makes it very easy. There are electric tractors, floor cranes for moving material, as well as hydraulic goods lifts. So I'll talk about a case study also a little later. Like you see here, a hydraulic goods lift is able to go up and down. It doesn't have any wire ropes. It doesn't have any chains. Most of the load is on one side, which is why it's called cantilevered. And the top of the cabin is relatively free. So you can make it go as high as possible. So within the factory, when you want to move material vertically, you can think about the hydraulic goods lift. Loading, unloading, you can think about the stacker or the crane. Movement of material, you use battery operated pallet trucks. And pallet trucks, etc. So I'll just like to show you something that my team has, made. It's a system called yeah, it's a system called vertical factory. Typically, what are the different systems that you can use within the factory to make your movement more efficient? So this is a animation. It's work in progress. You're one of the first clients to actually see it, but I thought imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. So we have knuckle boom cranes that are useful for loading, unloading of trucks. That is how a scissor lift is used to unload from the truck, so that you can get it on the scissor, and then the lift comes down and you take it down. There's again, this can be with wheels so that you can move them around. This is a goods lift. So if you make a mezzanine, which is in chemical and pharma very, very predominant, you can make and install a goods lift without any RCC work. It is fully freestanding and you can get this going. For vertical reach of your machines, you have different systems. You can rotate, trolleys, you can rotate trucks on a system called a turntable. So this turntable is on the ground, and it can rotate 360 degrees. For parking or material storage vertically, you have a carousel. So in this carousel, you don't need a forklift to load material and keep them at height. You just put it down on the ground floor and press a button, it rotates, comes down, and you remove pallet from that. So everything is on the ground level. That's a hydraulic lift again. However, you can see that this is a scissor lift. So again, scissor lift is not just 1x, it can go multiple heights. So because of the scissor lift at multiple heights, again, you can install them and make your mezzanine more useful. Without a separate lift, you can just install a lift like that, make a pit, put it down. We do have different kinds of truck loading, unloading systems, which is called column tail lift. So what happens in that is, instead of moving material with the hand, you would just use a trolley to move things. So even here, the steps are only for human walking, but the materials are sent up and down in the scissor lift itself. So that's scissor lift going up and down. We have towing scissor lifts. This is useful for maintenance. The OSHA's regulations state that you can't go more than 3 meters using a ladder. So you need to be very careful while you do an international audience and you want to remain compliant with the laws. You can have this is called a towable truck loader. So the platform goes up and down and you can load into a truck without a dock. When it comes down, it is fully on the ground and it loads into the truck. There is different kinds of tail lifts in the truck backs, which is you can just load it on the truck itself and use it for deliveries. Most of the time, your logistics companies would do that, but in your case, maybe that becomes a sustainability point. So, in short, that is like a vertical factory, how it goes. Hydraulic goods lifts are useful for traveling up and down. You can make them freestanding. You can put them into a shaft. You can make it go as high as 25 meters, and you can make capacities as much as 10 tons. We've done a 10-ton lift, which takes a forklift plus a lot of material and goes up and down. The benefits are, because it is hydraulic, there is no rope breaking, much more energy efficient, and it's got a very long service life. We installed this at one of the customers' place in Bangalore. So you can see it's a flame-proof equipment. It's got different buttons with an HMI and a lot of displays, stainless steel all around, different kinds of gates, collapsible, imperforated, vertically going up and down. That's how, it looks like in operation. So the flame-proof power packs are made. This is called a vertical. So this again is a new technology we are introducing into the material lift system. You can see the controls are very aesthetic. They are very robust. The cabin itself has the collapsible gates, but the vertical closing gates are automated. So this is making your operations very safe. And then the lift goes up. Typically, in the hydraulic goods lift, we do not give for man. It doesn't have a man rider. And once it goes to that particular location, there is a system called a mechanical lock. So the lock gets deployed and you can move your pallet out. So unlike your other conventional, I wouldn't call them cheap, but yes, economical lifts, where there is no lock, there is a possibility of jumping and there is a possibility of rope breakage. In this, it's not there at all. So this, when it goes up and down, it's very, very, very safe. So like you can see, we do have displays. We have an HMI which tells you it captures a lot of information and keeps them. This of course can be put up in non-flame proof ones also, but the box itself is going to be flame proof, rated to by the CMI. There are electromagnetic locks and pneumatic locks which make sure that the gates are locked, your lift is in place, your lift travels, so that it gives you fantastic safety. So you can load a container, and if your container is never going to be at a height of the factory, people typically make ramps, but instead of a ramp, you can actually use a scissor lift. So this customer is using a scissor lift for loading of the container. So when it comes down, it's on level. So the forklift comes in and rotates 90 degrees. Then you lift it up, it comes to the level of the truck. You have a wireless remote and just operate the button and take the forklift inside. So you can really, really make your operation so much safer. You can take, we can make similar things for man come, material, passenger come goods lifts, truck loading scissor lifts here, maintenance lifts to go to heights up to 16 meters also, and customized loading systems. So one similar system, like, that can get through. If you're exporting in bulk from your location, we do have container loaders and unloaders. I don't, at least chemicals, yes, makes a lot of sense. You can just put in a liner and the whole 25 tons can be poured in, and you use this like a big box storage. The logistic company will give you the container itself, and your cost of packaging goes down dramatically. So back of the envelope calculation, like if today one jumbo bag costs you about 800 rupees, and you have 25 of them for 25 tons in one container, you are looking at a lot of money. So we are looking at about 20,000 rupees only in packaging cost. Whereas if you use a liner, it will cost you about maybe 2,000 rupees for the liner. You save 18,000 rupees there. And that can get unloaded from the container at the other side. You can use this for dry powder, as well as use it for different kinds of input raw materials, right? So these are some other dock systems. The truck loader exactly there. It can load and unload any truck, even if you don't have a dock. So if you have a warehouse and you don't own it, you can't really make equipment and put them there. This helps you to make that easier. I'd like to show you one idea. This is not ours. This is a collaborator from Europe. So you can see if you're using a forklift to load a container, how much time it takes. Whereas on the other side, there's an automatic, system in which the truck just comes in. It gets attached to by adjusting to its height, everything automatic. There is a fork system that is just pushed in, right? It lifts up using a pneumatic balloon, and the entire pallets are then got back. Once it comes back, the truck can be released. And here again, you can automate this so that each pallet is removed and it can be taken to this. So if you want to talk about it, etc., and other things, you're more than welcome. For delivering of the goods, you do have knuckle boom cranes and column tail lifts. Knuckle boom cranes are not very useful for you if you're handling, a lot of bulk and palletized material, but column tail lift can. So even if you want to move it between your factories, it will be very useful for you to buy one truck and get it going. We have a customer who is a chemical company, and he invested into this truck mounted column tail lift, not very expensive too, and he was able to save that money in terms of labor salaries in a matter of about 7 to 8 months. So this is very, very useful method for you to move also. So out here, this is a pitch that we are going to be giving to you, that as Nandan, and because you are attending our webinar and because we are engaged together, we will offer a free, I repeat once again, free audit where your team can get in touch with us on sales@nandan.co.in. What we'll do is we'll run through a lot of questions. So this is going back to your question and answers. We'll ask you a lot of questions about the different operations in your place and what needs to get done at what location, and which is the place at which you're getting stuck. What are your problem areas? We'll put all that together and we'll give you a report as to what can be done and what would be the value of decluttering a lot of those areas. So if you do that, you will actually be able to do that. So we begin with a site survey where we'll be able to then come to you and see the site, give you recommendation on the civil work, etc. We would do the design, which includes 3D modeling and putting them up. There is a project kickoff, and the fabrication then starts. Then we deliver it to the site after the manufacturing is done. Project updates are constantly given. We have a fantastic PPC team who will always give updates to the customer at the right time. There is a dispatch plan made so that we know how to dispatch it, how it is to be kept, etc. It starts installation. Then after the installation is done, our QC will test it, give the QC certificate. We show it to the client and get the client sign off, and then the project is handed over. So this whole thing is, a very systematic approach, which is not really seen in the material handling industry. We do things like shot blasting and painting, which even if you don't ask these days, is mostly done as standard in most of my equipment. There is an installation and commissioning where our highly trained engineers will come to your site and give training to your team. So not just do we show them that press this button and take it up and down, we train them in the do's and don'ts. We show them the SOPs. We try to make in some videos, PPTs, and make them operators. We do a chartered engineer test and then hand it over to you. So overall, this is a case study from a client where they're into pharma. Of course, they built a lot of expansion, and we helped them in their greenfield as well as brownfield projects. So there was a lot of coordination that was helpful. We always worked with the safety parameters. Our team never works on site without PPE or whatever, so that we don't pass on any risk to you. These are quality and reliable solutions. We are always learning to do better and better in many ways. And wherever you do come up with any solution, we do give you, answers there. So all in all, like I promised, I generally deliver before time. So 1427. So you can always contact us on sales@nandan.co.in. The website is nandan.co.in, and in that, if you look at the different sections, material handling section will actually show you a lot of products that exist. And or you can call up on this number. This is the central helpline number, and we'll make sure that the right sales guy will take care of you. We believe, like it says in our sales manifesto, we believe that it does not matter what I want to sell. What matters is what the client wants to own. So based on that, whether we do business or not, it doesn't really matter. Our aim is to make sure that India grows up to a different level altogether. We were there in Africa just last week, and we can see the excitement when people from Africa talk about India. And this goes in all segments, including your core segments of pharma, of chemicals, and others. So it is our small little endeavor that we will do whatever we can to make sure that your material handling at least is taken care of. Your business model, your products, and all in all, Nandan GSE is there to support you. So this is Raghu once again, and my team of sales. There will always be a dedicated salesperson for a particular case. They will help you right from start to end. We have no shame in letting you know that, oh, I'm sorry, we can't do this. Or if your budget is too low, we won't there is always somebody who makes things cheaper, but we will at least give you the advice, and that comes complimentary. So once again, thank you for attending this webinar. If we have any questions, we'll be more than free to, you can just raise your hands on the raise hand, and Sangarsh will unmute you. We would be more than free to ask, or else feel free to put on the chat, and look forward to taking those. Thank you once again, guys. So you can see we have, Mr. Kannan is here, Mr. N. Kannan. He is the former head of Larsen and Toubro, HED, as well as he set up a lot of businesses in India. Sir, would you be able to unmute and come on screen? Okay, yes. Not able to unmute himself. Any questions anybody has? Feel free to ask me. Sangarsh?
So I've asked Mr. Kanan to unmute himself. Mr. Ravindra has a question. I'll just ask him to unmute.
Sure.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah,
Hi.
it was very, very good. I think very precise brief.
Thank you.
You should also look into, how you can marry them into a rollout on a business, because you are connected all. What you do, how a product comes into your factory is taking it out.
Right.
Right. The post portion of that, if you can throw some light, what's your plans?
Okay. Okay, great. Firstly, for marrying, please go to shadi.com. Just kidding. Okay. What Kanan sir says is that your existing factory, your existing infra, and new technologies and new solutions, how we can incorporate them into your operations without wasting too much of your money and without expecting you to make too many changes. So that's exactly where our free audit comes into the picture, where our expert salespeople as well as expert designers will help you to talk to you so that you can make minimal changes and you can have maximum results. So Ravindra ji, you also had a question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have
Yeah.
to ask you.
Please.
Kapil sir. Yeah. I'm from Cisco Research Laboratories, warehouse manager B1D.
Hi.
We're having only storage and unloading and dispatch area there. So sometimes what's happening, we don't have any palletization and pallet cars and also. We have only what do you call that? Small lorries and etc.
Correct.
So sometimes what's happening, we have glass bottles also there in lots of quantities. So sometimes what's happening, while we are unloading the vehicles, it may be cause of any accident and maintenance which is happen in our depot also. So what care I have to take for at our end for this situation?
Great. That's a lovely question. Thanks for the feedback and doing what it is. So I believe that in the future, a lot of things will get palletized because it is more efficient. So your equipments and your movements will slowly start, working towards it. Because even if you see a pallet today costs 800 rupees and it is reusable again and again and again. Whereas manual effort, and let's say that, you will look at salaries of your manpower will come to that amount, but that is per day. And it could lead to a lot of breakages, like you said. So when you're dealing with glass and when you're dealing with movement, first steps is you need to be aware about ergonomics. Give some anti-slip gloves to your guys first. Second is, at least outside the tempo, what you could do is you could start palletizing. So you have your tempo in which you're getting boxed material. Outside you keep on a pallet truck a pallet. So somebody is unloading and is keeping it on the pallet, and then get it moved around the factory in a pallet truck and keep it there. Or work on trolleys, because trolleys are much safer as far as glasses and stuff are concerned, so that they don't fall off. So I think we'll get in touch with you. So Sangarsh, please make sure that you can get maybe understand a little bit more of their operation to give some similar solutions. Yeah, Mr. Apte, you had a question. You can unmute yourself now. I think we've given the provision to unmute yourself. So all of you can unmute and even start video if you want to. You can start it up.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Apte. Hi.
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. It was a very interesting interaction on a specific sector. Though I had sent the link to few of the industry known people. I don't know whether they have joined or not. But this audit of the material handling systems, what we have been talking and what you are also advocating, is it possible for you to give us a small a single page handout or a write up on that, what exactly we do in the audit. Because if it is going to cover a broader area, I think that the customers will be very keen to get it done. Because nobody does it, and we are not going to charge for it. That is, I think, something very knowledge sharing platform the customers are looking forward.
Correct, correct.
Can it help?
Yeah. So, firstly, though, thank you so much for the comments, and thanks for attending. We do believe that with more, and this again is not the last time that we would do this webinar. We would definitely repeat it once again. So more than happy that people will come in and see that. But what I'll give you an example. There is one of India's leading steel mills who just reached out to us, and they had no particular need. So we said, okay, we will send somebody there. So my two people spend about half a day, being there, going around their place, documenting wherever their bottleneck areas were, what was the benefit, what are the problems that you had. So mainly, I'm trying to be like the doctor here. You go to the doctor. Doctor doesn't say, do you have lymphosarcoma of the intestine? Doctor asks you, what are the symptoms? So are you coughing? Is your hand paining or whatnot? And based on which the doctor does the diagnosis. So in a similar way, we are like trying to be like the diagnostic doctors, and that is where we are conducting the assessment of your existing thing, so that somebody from a zoomed out view can give you a few ideas. So this similar steel mill actually implemented 6 of the 12 ideas that we gave them, and we still are collecting data. But my rough estimate says that their ROI, that is whatever amount they put onto the equipment and making a little change, you got a return of investment back in like 2 months. In 2 months, they saved that much money. That was helpful there. So this is just an example of what happens. One page handout for sure. Whoever is registered, we'll email all of you what it means. But seeing is believing. So we definitely want you just.
Yes.
And, the best part is, again, we can even do this on a Zoom. So the audits
Okay.
will be done on Zoom, where my team will keep asking you guys questions, and we'll put it together so that then we can give it to your location.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So anybody else would like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I?
Sure.
Yeah. I just wanted to also know what are the green methods used in manufacturing today, or because I think world is going towards green, everything is getting into green. I think maybe there can be a time where manufacturing green scores will be there for tenders. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just contemplating. So what are the green methods you are trying or planning or already doing in Nandan?
Fantastic question again. Again, it's an honor to have you on the show, sir. With an experience of more than 42 years in the industry, and you're still young in your thoughts. That's nice to see. Yes, green, more than green, I think it is about sustainability, because sometimes green is a little, over abused word, because we use electric vehicles which are running power, which are coming from a thermal power plant. So technically it is not green in the entire sense, but sustainability is important. I think larger organizations are doing their sustainability index evaluations every year. People are putting in solar. People are looking at energy efficiency. Today, I think fluorescent tubes are all gone. Everybody is down to LEDs. In equipment, something where you need 30 HP to run a machine versus using a 10 HP machine, which is more efficient. So even if the capex involved is more, it makes more sense, because you're saving, with every operation, you're saving money. So I don't know about it being a law or not, but even if the people do look at it from the perspective of saving money for themselves, I think in the long run, it is always a worthwhile effort. And yes, if you do work for foreign companies, they will ask you for your sustainability score, and they will ask you for your sustainability policy. And that is when you can actually showcase that, earlier you need 10 people to unload one truck and it took you 2 hours. Now you have an equipment and it takes 2 people, maybe 35 minutes to unload the whole truck without human effort. So they don't need to bend. Ergonomics has become better. You're using pallets, you're recycling, and the time between 2 hours and 30 minutes is the time that you're unlocking from your throughput. So today, if everybody wants to make money, there are only 2 ways. One is you expand your infrastructure, which is very expensive. The next is you squeeze the lemon to the last drop that exists That means you use your factory, go vertical, use whatever space you have, use it in a more efficient manner, improve your storage, and so on and so forth.
Thank you. Well said. Thank you.
Thank you, Kannan sir. Anybody, any questions? Great. I think Vivek, you have any questions? You had also joined us. Mr. KC, Kripanand Chidambaram, KC, or as he's called. Yeah, great. So I think you deal with a lot of industries. So he's the founder of Business Leadership League, which has more than 1,000 members. And thanks for joining in and sparing your valuable time here. So you go to a lot of MSMEs as well as big organizations.
True.
Do you resonate with whatever was spoken today?
No, absolutely. It is it's a practical challenge. Many times what we do, we try to maintain the status quo. So especially when it comes to equipment handling, it feels that, okay, it's more like a no-brainer. We don't want to pay attention. We don't take any conscious decisions unless and until there is some serious concerns when it comes to health or some injury, then we actually start paying attention to what we could have done better. So what you mentioned, especially if the audit bit or what you're calling it as the assessment thing, that can really help us in a very long way to improve the overall productivity of all industries, and especially when it comes to India as becoming the next manufacturing powerhouse. These small things will definitely go a long way in improving the overall productivity of the country or all our manufacturing units. Even a 4-5% efficiency. Now look at the collective effort. Like say, just the Maharashtra, there are about so many thousand manufacturing units that put together all the other states. So about 10-15%, if the goods are or the materials are handled better, that can bring phenomenal efficiency. So I think this is a great work Raghu and you and your team is doing. Definitely it will in the long run have a tremendous contribution to the overall manufacturing, make in India story, I would say. Yeah.
As the Prime Minister's 73rd birthday, he's not going to be around for too long to take India ahead. Beyond that, it's your responsibility, my responsibility, and everybody's.
Very true.
This is just a little bit from us to take it forward. So guys, there's a little poll that we have sent on the screen. If you could just answer, on that, there are 3 options. So please feel free to answer that. And beyond that, you have been a fantastic audience. It has been a monologue, yes, but I know it's a topic that, you would get answers as you keep thinking. So feel free to write to us at any point of time at sales@nandan.co.in. And we really will value your any questions about anything. We are not out here to sell an equipment. So just be clear about that. The primary purpose of doing this is to get more knowledge out so that we can get to be a $5 trillion economy very soon. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you for your responses on the poll and appreciate it. Have a great day and happy Ganesh Chaturthi in advance.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thanks a lot.
Anybody else wants to ask any questions? We still have 2 minutes to go, so I'm remaining firm on my time of 45 minutes. Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Yeah.